Today's topic.
And we begin today with the question of whether transgender high school girls should be allowed to race on high school girls' track teams. And in Connecticut, these parents have said it's not fair.
I think there's a myth of an even playing field. There are all kinds of reasons that people have advantages. Somebody's parents can give them year-round training. Somebody else is really, really tall and someone's really, really short. I mean, there's no such thing as a level playing field.
I want to wrestle a kid right now. Because
you gonna box a child, nigga?
I'm gonna box a fucking child. There's no difference. We the same.
Yeah, we all on the same playing field.
We're the same playing field.
So
he got hands, I got hands.
He got a big head. Jimmy Neutron looking ass little nigga.
Let's go.
What you say about my homie?
Where's that kid?
Goo Goo Gaga?
Fuck that. I'm gonna pop him.
Yeah. Come on my stream and say Goo Goo Gaga. Like
let's
that.
go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I don't care if you a baby.
It's not like that. It's just us. He's got hands, I got hands. I got feet, he got feet. Shoulders, knees, and toes. Let's go. Where that kid at? I'm gonna bust him in his mouth.
All right, cut. Let's go.
Nah! There's no cut. You don't decide with a cut. We fight. So woo!
This nigga really went.
So woo! So woo!
There's no such thing as a level playing field.
What are you saying? All right, I fight. Okay, I do fighting sports and stuff like that. My wife does fighting sports as well. My wife has more technicals than me. She has more years of practice and more years of in this game. She's a black belt taekwondo. But I am bigger, faster, stronger than my wife. And that's going to compensate for the lack of techniques. That's why even on the man side, there is weight classes.
And the weight classes are like 6 to 7 pounds different.
The whole momentum of your body, the whole mass of your body behind that punch can just make the difference between me punching someone and it just feels like that, me hurting the person, me breaking someone's bone and causing a trauma. It's the difference. And just a couple of pounds of pressure with the weight of the arm and the momentum that is traveling just makes that difference. It's just a couple of pounds.
Because if you look at the best female runners and the best male runners,
there's a gap.
There's a giant gap.
There's a gap.
Right?
Just 1 second can just be the whole difference.
Bro, if you lose a race by 1 second.
No, you didn't lose the race. You were not running. You were not even in there.
Why was it necessary for you to say that anybody, Tarina, couldn't beat the 700th player on the men's circuit?
She's the greatest female player that ever lived. Then the lady said to me, I don't remember which one, but she said, why did you say woman? Why don't you just say the greatest, tennis player that ever lived? And so then I felt the need to defend myself. I don't know, just say what I really felt. I mean, which is about what I think she would be. I think you're referring to the fact that I said she'd be about 700 in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just waiting. Would you like to apologize?
No.
You're misogynistic, racist, fat pig. You are a disgrace to humankind.
Men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because it's true. It's true. It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game, and I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the tour.
Would you like to apologize?
I've just come to realize over time that a lot of times people are fighting on behalf of people who don't want them fighting for them. In an effort to appeal to their base, they're going to implement policies that don't actually work for people, but are actually extremely dangerous. Imagine if we started to allow UFC fighters to fight with no gender involved. How women would get completely destroyed physically and hurt because they're fighting against people who have a clear physiological advantage. That is dangerous. You're putting people's lives at risk. We would never let a bantamweight fight a heavyweight because we recognize it is absolutely dangerous and it risks their life. They would never want to do it. Yet what you're advocating for is putting them in that life-threatening situation. This is why I say people like this, liberals like this, who want to just try to advocate for people thinking they're doing a good thing, they're just virtue signaling. They want power. They want control. They're not actually implementing policies that protect the people that they're trying to fight for. And it's also not fair to transgender people because anytime they win at anything, we're always going to say it's because you're trans.
Yep.
And it's the truth because you have a clear advantage. If you start 10 meters ahead of me, I'll be like, well, that was probably a big part of your win. If you start with more testosterone than me because you inject yourself, I'm going to say that's why you won. And if we're playing in a sport that has weight classes and you're 10 weight classes bigger than me and you beat me, then I'm going to say that's probably why you won.
I don't think we have to reject that. I don't think there's not a binary choice that if you are conflicted on this issue, you're against transgender people.
And in fact, but you're against them being able to hold it.
Yes, excuse me, black lady. Let me just talk. Yeah, excuse me. I have a point to make. And you haven't spoken since the beginning, but now it's my turn to shine. Like, shut up.
You are against them being able to compete as the gender that they identify.
Well, I think they're wrestling with how to handle it sensitively to all people involved.
Well, the Connecticut rules are established.
And if I could add, I actually interviewed a transgendered person for my PBS show, and we talked about the case in Connecticut, and she said that she thought it was unfair if this student has not been taking hormones, isn't going through transition.
Because let's talk about the hormones.
Well, there's a problem.
Because what happens at the NCAA level, at the college level, is they say that you male to female transgender, that you need to have been doing hormone therapy for at least a year because the testosterone levels, they think, at that level need to come down to make it more even.
Did you see that clip? You see that? She's talking, and look at all three of their faces.
They think at that level need to come down to make it more even.
Two of them are listening. They're the one that's waiting to.
I'm outraged. I got feelings.
But what I know.
Backtracking. That's what it is. It's just an emotional response. Listen to what the other side is saying and take it in.
Shut up, man.
Or even, because a lot of testosterone that's where guys get their big muscles from, and they get their bodies.
She's just trying to interrupt. You see her hand going up. So here are 5 signs you can look out for to know when someone you're speaking to is not listening. Sign number 1. So what you mean is...
They're really not trying to listen to what you're saying.
So what you mean is...
Right, so you're saying you've done your research and women are unhappy dominating men.
No, I'm not saying that. I actually haven't said that.
You're saying it makes them miserable. So you're saying women are just more sensible. They don't want that because it's not a nice love. Right, so you're saying that anyone who believes in equality, whether you call them feminists, call them whatever you want to call them, should basically give up because it ain't going to happen.
Only if they're aiming at equality of outcome.
So you're saying
I said what I said. I don't need you to paraphrase what the fuck I said. I said it. If you listen to it, you would have known what the fuck I said. I said that. Don't try to paraphrase it. Only thing they trying to know is, or trying to tell you is what they felt you said. Then they wasn't listening.
So what you mean is you hard of hearing, nigga, and your ears don't work. Second thing you can look out for is if their hand goes up.
And it stay there. And it stay there.
Number 3, when their mouth moves before you're done talking. If I'm taking the time to say things to you and you're pretending like you're listening, but your mouth is already moving, bitch, can you time travel? How can you already prepare your response before I've already finished?
You're trying to argue something I haven't said? What? You just look like a pigeon right now.
I want my hand back and forth. Number 4. If you're done talking and the first reply is you done? No. Is you done or is you finished? No. I asked you a question. Is you done? Is you? What the fuck was that?
Is you? Is you done the remix? Is the remix? Is you done? Popping out the question. Nigga, stop talking.
Hey, but you already know. R. Kelly, he is finished. And that's the start of a great conversation.
And the end of it. Because you do this shit, I'm out.
You out?
Deuces.
Deuces. We're not talking anymore.
That's a conversation. That's not a conversation.
That's a great line.
But here's the problem. If you're a kid, those are adults. Okay, if you're a kid, you don't have that option in many circumstances.
Right.
In some states, in many states, you can't begin that until you're over 16.
I think Connecticut may be one of them.
They are.
Right.
But I just want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying in terms of everyone being at some sort of disadvantage. Are you saying that boys and girls at the age of 14 or 15 are the same physically?
No, what I'm saying, though, although a lot of doctors say that some boys mature faster in terms of their physicality and some girls mature faster, and, you know, in the wonderful research packet provided by your producers, there are a lot of references, including a Yale physician who says, you know, it's just a myth that all boys are stronger and faster than all girls.
Nobody says that all boys are faster and stronger than all women. If I fight Ronda Rousey, she's going to have a field day with my butthole. It's okay. I've accepted that. You know?
She's going to have a what?
She's going to have a field day.
Male British rapper claims to have broken the women's weightlifting record while identifying as female. In his post, he outlined that he was identifying as a woman. We spoke to him.
I think the video went viral because it touched on a timely issue. According to their own logic, they have no proof that I myself did not identify as a woman whilst doing that video. So by their own logic, I could easily accuse them of being transphobic or being bigoted by claiming that I, in fact, was not a woman at the time that video was recorded.
But we're
And
not
in
talking
fact,
about
to prove
averages.
that, a young woman in Connecticut won the 500.
Right.
She won the 500.
Right.
Competing.
Go ahead.
That means nothing. We're not saying that some girls cannot beat some guys. All right. Yes, it's possible that some women.
This is too stupid. Our viewers are intelligent enough to decipher how stupid this fucking is. If you take the top of males and the top of females, the gap is huge. And look, this is not a transphobic thing. We are not against trans people. And you want to know how I know this is the case? Because nobody's fighting transgender men. Okay, who want to compete against other men in sports. Why? Because there is no advantage. In fact, they're at a severe disadvantage. You have not heard of any transgender men who are breaking records playing against men. But you are hearing about every transgender woman breaking almost every record that a natural cisgendered woman has held. And look, for me, it's crazy. It's crazy for me to think that such a small population of people, okay, are somehow some of the most elite athletes. Is it possible that this is an anomaly? Or just maybe, these are people who have the physiology of a man, have physical advantages. And when they compete against women, you're seeing those physical advantages take shape.
But moreover, the same study found that there's no relationship at all in men between testosterone and performance. And around 1/6 of elite men track and field athletes are in the female range for testosterone.
If you don't think that juicing doesn't make a difference, there's a reason why it's banned at the Olympics. There's a reason why it's banned in every professional sport.
No.
What it does for your recovery and your muscle building is unbelievable.
Is everything.
It's everything.
And the whole point of Title IX, which created the federal requirement to have girls' sports and have schools recognize girls' athleticism and competition in sport, was to do this, to recognize and create sports programs for girls, because before that it was all for boys.
By her rules, what's going to happen is that men are going to be in all the sports. Let's say we don't do nothing. Tennis is not women and men tennis. It's just tennis. What's going to happen?
We would never have Serena Williams.
We would never have Serena Williams.
These people want diversity, it's not diversity in opinion. That's the reality of the problem at hand. I think the most troubling part about this video wasn't the fact that she had terrible arguments, it's the fact that she wasn't listening. And without listening abilities, you can't have dialogue. It doesn't matter what happens. If I come to you and I'm saying, hey, if I say a whole spiel about how I'm feeling and then your response is, I want 2 double cheeseburgers. We had no dialogue.
None.
I know what you want to eat, but you didn't understand what I'm feeling and what I'm actually going through. So we can't understand each other. And that's the problem with our society right now, is that we are not listening to what people are saying. Liberals got mad at John McRae for what he said about Serena Williams, when Serena Williams was echoing his very same thoughts about her not wanting to compete against men because it's not fair. I would just caution people to, in the name of progressiveness, stop trying to change the world. Actually listen to what's going on. Listen to the parties that would be most affected and see what solutions actually sound plausible. But don't inject yourself in situations where you don't understand the parameters and then try to make change, because that is misguided. If I don't understand why this house is in shambles, it makes no sense to hire me to fix it. Because if I try to fix it and then I bring the next family in and it falls, they die because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing when I got in here. If you don't play sports and you've never played sports and you don't understand sports, you probably shouldn't be out there deciding what competition in sports should look like.
If you're not from the hood, don't come to motherfucker hood.
That's right, nigga.